Welcome to this explainer. Right off the bat, I want you to picture this. You're a professional driver, sitting high up in the cab of a fully loaded rig. The stakes? Sky high. Deadlines are tight, and you're trusting your entire livelihood to that reassuring little blue line on your everyday consumer GPS.
But here's the kicker. That rig you're driving is exactly 13 feet and 6 inches tall. The app on your phone, though, it has absolutely no clue. It's just routing you blindly through an unfamiliar city, calculating the absolute fastest path for, well, a Honda Civic.
Now imagine the sheer panic, the catastrophic moment when that very same GPS routes you straight into the infamous 11-foot can opener bridge in Durham, North Carolina. Boom! In a fraction of a second, your truck is literally destroyed and your livelihood is completely wiped out. And look, this isn't some wild hypothetical scenario. Every single year, hundreds of commercial vehicles are involved in severe, career-ending accidents simply because their navigation software betrayed them.
Let's move to Section 4, the Goliath navigation problem. Consumer GPS fails trucks.
So why does this keep happening? Well, billion-user behemoths like Google Maps completely ignore commercial trucks. They're calculating the fastest path for a passenger car, completely and willfully ignoring the literal physics of a 53-foot trailer. Then, on the flip side, you've got these expensive enterprise tools like Samsara, costing up to $65 per vehicle every single month that basically just act as surveillance monitors for the boss back in the office. Hound, on the other hand, takes a totally different path. This isn't just some consumer app with a clunky truck mode bolted on as an afterthought. No, it's a professional tool built exclusively by people who actually respect the driver.
Section 6. The microeconomics of trucking. The cost of trucking.
To really grasp why a purpose-built tool like this matters, we have to talk money and look at the independent owner-operator's bottom line. Take $1,000. That is what just a single penny saved per gallon of diesel comes out to over a standard 100,000-mile driving year. Think about that. Hound builds real-time diesel price optimization right into the map. So over a year, finding diesel that's just 10 cents cheaper per gallon, that saves a driver around $4,000. It turns a simple route filter into a massive financial lifeline.
But hey, the financial risks go way beyond just fuel. Federal fines for overweight vehicles start at $65 per pound. So, if a driver makes a mistake and comes in, say, 5,000 pounds overweight, they get hit with a catastrophic bankruptcy-inducing fine of over $325,000. It's game over. Hound neutralizes this massive risk by alerting drivers miles in advance, showing real-time open and closed statuses for weigh stations right along their route.
And we all know time is money, right? Every single day, drivers waste an average of 56 minutes burning through their incredibly strict federal hours of service limits just trying to find legal parking. Why? Because there are only 313,000 truck parking spots in the entire U.S., and there are 3.5 million commercial truck drivers fighting for them. It's a stressful, downright dangerous daily race against the clock. By providing real-time spot counts that update throughout the entire day, Hound lets drivers actually plan their evening stops hours in advance.
All right, Section 10. Driver-first AI solutions. Simplifying the drive.
So Hound tackles these crushing economic pressures head-on by deploying artificial intelligence. And I don't mean AI as some shiny tech buzzword, but as an absolutely essential, real-time translator right there in the cab. Look, commercial vehicle regulation in the U.S. is an absolute nightmare patchwork of state and federal rules. Throwing dense, impenetrable legal code at a driver navigating heavy highway traffic is useless, and honestly, it's dangerous. Instead, Hound uses Claude AI to instantly translate complex seasonal weight restrictions and hazmat rules into simple, actionable, plain English. It simply tells you, your rig at 72,000 pounds is under the limit and may proceed. It takes a massive cognitive load completely off the driver's shoulders.
And all these features, they work together as one cohesive system. The platform calculates every single route using the exact physical specs of your specific vehicle: the height, the weight, the length, the axles. It integrates those real-time weigh station alerts and hours of service trackers directly into the map view. And this is absolutely crucial. It offers full offline maps. Because if a driver is hauling through a massive cellular dead zone out in rural Nevada or the Texas Panhandle, their navigation and route alerts never drop out. They are literally never left stranded.
Section 13. A philosophy of respect. Data belongs to drivers. You know, perhaps the most revolutionary aspect of this whole platform has absolutely nothing to do with mapping algorithms. It's their underlying ethos.
Sells to drivers, used by drivers. No tracking, no surveillance. In an industry that recently saw massive protests against federal electronic logging device mandates, a community that deeply resents corporate surveillance, this is everything. Hound operates on a driver-first mindset, where the app stores zero data to be used against you, and it completely blocks dispatcher location tracking. Your route history, your logs, they belong exclusively to you. End of story.
Moving on to Section 15. Pay once, drive forever. Lifetime value.
This deep alignment with the independent, entrepreneurial mindset of the owner-operator is reflected right there in the price tag, $297. Now, most software out there tries to bleed you dry with endless monthly fees, like $19.99 a month that just eats into your profits forever. But here, drivers secure a lifetime deal for a single payment. You pay once, you drive forever. It turns a really frustrating recurring expense into a permanent, owned business asset.
Section 17. The backbone of America. Moving U.S. freight.
When we really zoom out from the app itself, the very existence of a platform like this highlights a massive, glaring gap in how we treat a critical sector of the American economy. A staggering 72% of all freight in the United States moves by truck. Think about that. Everything we buy, eat, and use is brought to us by these professionals. Yet for an entire decade, the people doing this grueling work have been forced to rely on consumer tools built for weekend road trips, or enterprise software that treats them as just another tracked line item. So, are we finally ready to give the backbone of the American economy the tools they actually deserve? I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Hound proves that when you stop treating professional drivers like commuters or surveillance targets, you don't just build a better GPS. You build a lifeline that fundamentally respects the work they do. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. The next time you see an 18-wheeler out there on the highway, ask yourself, what road are they really navigating?